crafting lovelies, and welcome to the Rocky Mountain Crafter. I am so very thankful that you are able to join me today. Have you heard that Catherine Pooler Designs is releasing 3 new gray ink colors? I have them here in front of me. There's a Slate, which is a dark gray, and it has a lot of blue undertone in it as well, which is beautiful. There's Hoodie, which is a medium gray. And then there's Pebble, the lightest gray. And I really like the gradient vibe that you can get from putting these 3 colors together. And then she's releasing also this Feelin Fizzy stamp set, which is geared towards men and very masculine. But I've made a few cards and there are so many ways that you can turn this into something more than just masculine. I'll show you those after. And there's coordinating dies with that. And in this release is also the retro love word die. So I'm going to flip you guys around and I'll show you all the cards that I've made. And there's a few because these were a lot of fun to play with, these products. Before I show you those cards that I've made, I would like to show you the 3 new ink colors, Slate, Hoodie, and Pebble, in relation to Twilight, which is already the gray in our existing colors by Catherine Pooler Designs. So there's the 3 there. And here they are stamped out. There's the 3 new ones. Now, you can't really see on camera very well. You can see a little bit, but you would be tempted to say that this Twilight fits right in here. However, these 3 have quite blue undertones compared to Twilight. Twilight has more of a brown undertone. So it's not really in the same gray family. It's a little bit different of a hue of gray. So there are still all grays. This is a warm gray, and these 3 are cold grays. So we'll start with this first card. So here I've used the Feelin Fizzy stamp set for the sentiment. And this is what is supposed to be the straw in the set. I've used it as an accent border and just stamped the bubbles in the gray. Oh, the accent border is in Slate, by the way. And this gray is Pebble. And the inside gray of the sentiment is Hoodie. And the bottles I did in Life of the Party colors by Catherine Pooler Designs inks. And there's Acetate, a see-through window, is how this card's put together so that you can see through to the sentiment. Well, the next card is I watercolored in Slate, and I've used that Happy Birthday Old Timer sentiment. This piece here again is supposed to be the straw, but I used it as an accent piece along the edges of the card here. And I used Vellum for the see-through bottles. And there's just the slightest little hint of sparkle on there. I don't know if you guys are able, there we go, to pick that up. So I sprayed it with some sparkle spray. Just gives it a tiny bit of shimmer, which looks awesome. This one here, so I masked off the labels and I did some stamp surgery. Are you guys fans of stamp surgery? Let me know in the comments. And I did the bubbles in red just to coordinate it all together. I originally had this stamped right on the card front in Slate, but it took away too much from the main focus, which I wanted to be the bottles. And so I went back and stamped it in Hoodie on a separate piece of paper and glued that over top. You can't even tell, it's so nice and flat. And it just looks amazing. I love the way this card turned out. I love that I did stamp surgery for this background. That's in Slate and in Hoodie. And so you get the different two-tone colors back there. And the bottle caps I did in Hoodie. Yeah, love that card. I'm going to save all the love retro word die ones for after. This one here, so this is fun. I made these little shakers for the bottles. That's so cute. And so I did something I don't normally do, and that's I took a Tombow blender pen, and I inked it up. This here is Merlot ink. So I inked it up in Merlot, and after I'd put my stamp into, that's apricot. So after I put my stamp into apricot, I got some Merlot on the tip of this and I went around the edge of it so I could get that two-tone look and be exact with it. And here I colored in the bubbles. The bubbles are not normally have a center to them. And yeah, I used the fuse tool. I don't know if you guys have one of those in your stash, but that's so fun. Oh, and I did my own background paper here with the bubbles. Yeah, so that's a cute little card. This one here, just with an embossing pen. And Catherine Pooler has some of those in her shop. With an embossing pen, you can write anything you want to on the labels. Now oops, I have another card under there. Oops. Now I went and I made my own bottle tops. So all I did was color the bottles in Merlot and then just cut them off and pasted them right on top of the bottles, the green ones, so that they look like bottles of wine. This is Slate and this is Pebble. I really liked the blue in the Slate because it made the red and the green kind of pop a little bit more. And the color on the bottle labels is also Pebble. This one here, so I took the die background and just inked that up and used that as a background for the sentiment. And I thought that turned out really well. I did gradient. This is not black. This is Slate. So I first started by ink blending a panel in Party Colors. Is that what it is? Party, Life of the Party. In Life of the Party Colors, I inked a panel. Then I heat embossed. Well, I got the stamp set all together. I put all the stamps on one block and went through and stamped them all in Versamark. And then I clear embossed over top of it. And that made them kind of have that plastic sheen to it. And then I took the Slate and did the whole background in Slate. Slate is an excellent color to use in place of black. So that but it has a lot of blue in it. So it's just really, it's a great color. I love Slate. It's fantastic. And then we have this one. So here, again, this has acetate on it, but you can't hardly tell. But that's what gives it the dimension because it has the bubbles as the back layer and then a layer of bottle caps. No, then a layer of acetate. Then the bottle caps are on top of the acetate. And then the sentiment is on top of it. And the colors aren't showing up real good here. They're much better in real life. But I did the baby wipe technique here. So this is actually more teal and blue than what it's showing up here. You can kind of see it in the bubbles. And this is Pebble gray on here. And yeah, that's real fun card. And it was easy. That was a very easy card. This one here, I've seen some folks online doing something similar. I did soft colors. I just like the softness of this. And it was easy. And this is Vellum. You could just swink straight from your stamp pad to white cardstock and then just cut out that background layer like that. But I actually wanted the softness, so I did Vellum. And when you do Vellum, you get kind of streaky. You can kind of see it there, but it was way worse to start off with. And the way that I combat that was I set up one of my brushes to be alcohol. So then after I put Copics on the back of the Vellum, then I just brush over it with this alcohol pen and it gets rid of the majority of those streaks and gives it this real softness to it. So that was a fun card to do. And of course I had to layer up those love sentiments, layer them up for some dimension. This one here is very similar to the other ones that I've made in that it has acetate in it. And I used Thanks for Just Being You And this sentiment is from Just Right Sentiments that just came out not too long ago. And there are a lot of great sentiments in there. And I'm going to leave this here because I'm going to show you something about this heart for the next one. We'll put it off to the side a little bit. But I made my own paper here. So I used those grays, all three of them. And I took some tape, some die cut tape, and I just taped off sections but left white. And after I had the whole panel ink blended with the grays and the pink, then I took an embossing pen and went over some of those white wavy lines with my embossing pen and embossed it in silver by Wow. And I embossed the love in silver by Wow. And yeah, then on the inside, thanks for just being you. So it's got that sentiment. Now we'll leave this here because here's the last card. So for this one here, I love how awesome you are. So I ink blended those party colors again. Man, those were handy to have it on hand. I use them a lot when making these cards. Life of the party, that's what they are. So for this one here, I ink blended that and then cut it out and put it onto the black background. Now, here's something you guys need in your stash. If you don't already have it and you're trying to spend the $75, this is what you need. You need kitchen sink sequin mix. So right now, April 19th, 2023, with $75 purchase, you get the Retro Love Die for free. There's a code you have to put in for checkout. But if you're trying to spend the $75, you have everything you want and still aren't at the $75 mark, and you don't already have this in your stash, I strongly suggest you get it. So this is kitchen sink, and there's just honestly everything but the kitchen sink, or is it go everything in the kitchen sink? I don't know, but there's everything in here. Okay, look at this. There's even a little Christmas tree. There's just and then another thing, so that's where these hearts came from. But another thing is that when I find stray sequins in my craft room that have fallen out of their jars, I just toss them in the kitchen sink. It's easy, so easy. And then I'm leaving this one out here because it has this little heart in here. So the kitchen sink is where I got these hearts from. But if you don't have hearts, in this sentiment stamp set here is that little heart. And you could easily, I could have easily just stamped it in place of these little gold hearts and heat emboss them with gold. And yeah, that's all of the cards, you guys. I'm so very thankful that you guys were here today. And I will link all of these products below. And you can just click on a link under the YouTube video. Or if you're watching on my blog, you can click there. Make sure you put in the code for the Love Die. If you spend over $75, there will be a code. I will put that code in the link like below the description. In my description, I will put that code. So yeah, these are all of the cards, you guys. I'm so very thankful that you joined me today. I am the Rocky Mountain Crafter. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my blog at therockymountainCrafter.com. Take care and have a lovely week. Bye-bye.